got me reaching out. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and try.
Hey, what's up? We're back. I'm walking and talking to episode 29 of this daily video series. I almost fall down these rocks. Today, if you couldn't figure out from the intro, where I'm driving into Manhattan, is a bit different. Right now, I'm not in Washington Valley Park. It is Friday, not Monday, which it actually is right now, because I'm in the city to do some stuff, and despite how easy Casey Neistat makes it look, it's really difficult to record a video in Manhattan. Between the needs for permits, the constant distractions from everything, the loudness from the sirens and people and trains and the rest of that, I figured I'd make a little bit of a different video today where I go and record little bits each day and put together to make a cohesive topic. And today's topic, which is actually going to be the week's topic, is getting into sports. Sports are a complicated subject that can be very intimidating to somebody who's never followed a sport before, especially coming from my personal background in tech and the rest of that. There's a lot of people in that world that have never been exposed to sports. It's never interested them. But as they got older, they got curious, they saw other people enjoying it, and they wanted to maybe try to get into it and see what it's all about. So today I wanted to give some tips on how to approach a new sport, because it's not as hard as it seems, it's not as intimidating as it might sound, but these will basically give you some helpful guides on what to do and what can help really immerse you in a new sport and give you the highest success rate chance possible to have a good experience with it. Because whether you like it or not, whether you get into it or not, it should be fun, because sports are games for the most part, or they're races, which are also games. It should be fun. This is not a work thing. This is not difficult. This should be enjoyable. You should be able to hang out with friends, bond and connect. Yeah, that's what it's all about. So let's get into it. Here we go. Hey, welcome to La Tourette Park. We are here on Staten Island again, and let's start off with community. When you're getting into sports, one of the most important things is surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Sometimes it can be intimidating or difficult to find that group, whether it's going to a bar. A lot of these people already have that friend group around them that go to watch the game together. So fitting into that group can be a little challenging, a little intimidating, but here's a little trick. Look in your communities that you're already a part of, where you already have friends, where you already have family that are into that sport. So for me, with F1, I was in the Giant Bomb and GameSpot community when Drew Scanlon and Danny O'Dwyer decided to start their podcast. I'll get into that later. With that podcast, they kind of started bringing out the community that was already inside Giant Bomb and GameSpot that were Formula One fans. So those who weren't Formula One fans, who maybe wanted to get into the sport, all of a sudden had this group of people who were collectively watching races and chatting about it, and many of these people were new to the sport. So it really gave an excellent way in for us newbies. And so the trick there is finding that community. Can be intimidating, but the best thing you can do is look inside the communities you're already a part of. So maybe find out, there's a little mosquito there, maybe find out if your workplace has a get-together for the sport you care about. Maybe they're doing a watch party for the World Cup. Maybe they're doing an outing to go see a soccer or football game or a hockey game. Be a part of those. It'll give you kind of this instant connection with fans who are already invested, who already have knowledge, and really can help bring you into that sport. That said, when you do this, you are going to add a deeper bond to those friendships. So say you have a best friend who's always been into football. You've never been into football, but you want to get into it. He might be your perfect avenue, or he or she is your perfect avenue to get into that, because they're able to use your connection with them to start that relationship. And then as you evolve, start to watch more games, start to get more into it, that friendship and that bond between you two can grow even more. So not only is it going to build on your friendships and grow your current relationships, you also develop a new love and affinity for something cool, a sport. With that, I'm going to pass it off. Bye. Hey, welcome to Clay Pond Park. Next, let's talk about going to a game, watching a race, whatever you're doing. It is important to be present. If you've been invited or have gone with someone to enjoy an activity that they really enjoy, be open to it, be receptive, be there, because this person and these people love these games, love these teams, and are invested in the outcome. Being there and being all highbrowy and trying to be ironic, saying, oh, I'm going to go watch the sports ball. Guess what? Everybody on the internet's ironic, which means no one on the internet's ironic. You're just that thing. And being pretentious like that and putting yourself above the sport, you're not going to get anything out of it. So what's the point of even being there? So if you're trying to get into the sport, really embrace it. If you're doing it with a friend or with a group, just follow the vibe. Be yourself, be there, enjoy it, relax, have fun. That's the whole point of sports, is to have fun, engage with friends, and celebrate the victories, mourn the losses. Don't mourn that long, it's just a game. And also don't celebrate too hard, because once again, it's just a game. A little trash talking never hurt anybody, but it can go too far real fast. So, yeah, just be there, be yourself. Hey, what's up? We're back. Past me may have been an idiot and said I was in La Tourette Park before, but now we're in La Tourette Park. On Tuesday, we were in Mount Loretto State Forest. I hate park names on this island, they're all kind of confusing. But next, let's talk about the content around a sport. So when you're getting into a sport, some of the best stuff you can watch, read, consume are the documentaries, biographies, biopics, and movies that are made about the sport that are designed for a more wide audience. So stuff like Drive to Survive for Formula One, or the documentary Senna. Both of those give you kind of a TLDR of Formula One. So if you're completely new, you can watch that content and you get informed. You learn about the sport, you learn about the history, you learn about important figures. If you're trying to get into Formula One, one of the best things you can watch is the documentary One. It is just the numeral 1. It's impossible to find. It came out a few years ago. I believe it's narrated by Michael Fassbender, but it basically talks about the safety revolution in Formula One, and it is highly informative. Would highly, highly recommend if you're trying to get into Formula One. Or even if you're not, if you want a cool piece of content to watch, go watch it, it's cool. Oh, so with that said, go out, find stuff about your sport, find between YouTube, Netflix, HBO Now, there are so many, ESPN's 30 on 30. Between all of those sources, there's so much extra content around even the non-popular sports, just around sports in general. Go start watching some of that. Once you say have a sport that you want to try to get into, just go do a quick Google search, and I'm sure you'll find documentaries and other content from like-minded people about the sport you're looking to get into. And I think that content is even better than watching a game in a lot of cases, because it not only gives you history, it gives you an extra attachment and gets you more engaged in that sport. So with that, thank you all for joining me. This has been Walking and Talking episode 29. Thank you for joining me on this Friday. I hope you all have a good weekend. I'm going to see Detective Pikachu. Catch y'all later. Peace. Bye.